In terms of final score, none of the games were close. I thought yesterday's games were closer than their final score would lead you to believe. Let's start with the Giants. How do you factor in the boat trip? Like, is that when you're in a front office right now with the New York Giants and you're doing your exit meetings, is that part of the discussion in moving towards next year?
Well, I think there's two things here. Number one, obviously it looks bad. Okay, so that ought to be a learning experience right there. This is something we don't need to do. We're getting ready to be a playoff game. I don't remember with our great Redskin teams any of our players ever doing anything like that. They would be the exact opposite, okay? And the Giants have had championship teams, and I don't remember that happening before. I don't care if it's a different era or not. I don't think the Patriots, I didn't see any of them on any boat trips last week, okay? The other thing is, hey, how much did it affect during the week? The level of concentration. Maybe the level of concentration wasn't there. So we can't judge practice. We can judge the PR part of it. It's not good PR to help you in that way.
Is it Ben McAdoo's job, does that go above his pay grade? Is that Eli Manning? Like, who has to clean those things up with Odell Beckham Jr. and with some of the other wide receivers so that this doesn't become an issue again?
Well, that's the head coach's job. But when you get to the ball game, there's reality. Yes, they had a number of drops, which were key drops in the first half, which could have changed the score in the first half. Absolutely. But Manning on some of those throws, those weren't the best throws now either, too.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, he didn't go on any boat trips. Olivia Vernon got shut out by Bakhtiari for most of the game. Okay, you have that aspect of it there. Without JP, they didn't have a second pass rusher. Green Bay did a phenomenal job, and I shouldn't say phenomenal. It isn't hard. Okay, we're not going to throw at Jenkins. We're going to go after Apple. They beat Apple pretty consistently during the game, and they got after Wade at corner. So, those are key things that happen in the game. That has nothing to do with a boat trip, from best I can tell. But not for the drops, we could argue that one, but not on the pass rush and not on the corner play.
All right, so help me out in looking forward to this week. They're taking on the Cowboys, who are constructed completely differently on the offensive side. And the last time we saw the Packers go against the Cowboys, it was in Lambeau, and the Packers just mauled them, just mashed them at the point of attack, running the football down their throat, which, of course, made the weakness they have in their defensive backfield even more apparent. How similar do you see this matchup now months later?
I don't know if there's any difference. In fact, the corner position still is a major problem for Green Bay. And if Dallas spreads them out and they run nickel with 4 down and 2 linebackers, Dallas is going to be able to run the ball on them again. So, one of the things that they have to pick their poison here because Dez Bryant, you can't cover Dez Bryant without 2 people. Now, as I remember, Dez Bryant didn't play in the last game, but he's going to play in this game. So you have a dilemma there to double Bryant. If you do that and they spread you and you're a nickel, Dallas is just going to be able to run the ball. I think Dallas is going to win the game. Green Bay's chance is this: throwing the ball against that Dallas secondary. Yeah. Rodgers can have a big day here, and they can pass protect. So this could be a shootout, and they might be able to score more points, and that would be their formula to win.
Have you seen somebody play at the level that Aaron Rodgers has consistently played at here in this last 2 months?
Well, he's on one of those streaks. I mean, we've seen great quarterbacks do it probably for a long time. He's just on one of those streaks where, he's playing like he played at the MVP level before. The fascinating thing is early in the year, this wasn't the guy. I mean, early in the year, this guy was, I thought he was jittery in the pocket. I thought he was coming off reads too soon. Thought he was missing balls he normally hit. And then every now and then in the game, he'd hit one of those streaks where, boy, he was on the money. And then he'd just revert back to it. But somewhere in there, things changed, whether it was Jordy Nelson coming back and getting back to his form or exactly what happened. But definitely Aaron Rodgers is back to the Pro Bowl MVP form that he's had previous in his career.
Charley Casserly, the NFL Network, joining us on the Doug Gottlieb Show on CBS Sports Radio. All right, let's go to Atlanta and Seattle. Seattle has some major injury issues, but in the playoffs, everybody seems to believe in Seattle. Then you got Atlanta, who has completely flipped the script on their red zone production or lack thereof it last year with all the turnovers, and this year they become incredibly efficient. Matt Ryan playing an MVP caliber level. How do you see the Atlanta-Seattle matchup?
I like Atlanta. Seattle has struggled on the road. They're not the same team, but I think they'll be able to run the ball on them. I think he can wear Seattle down. I think he can beat them on misdirection, cutback runs. I think they'll be able to throw on him because I think he can throw away from Richard Sherman at their other corner, Sheed and Lane. I think you can isolate Chancellor one-on-one and throw on him. And you can throw on Sherman. If you get him to run downfield and then break off the route, he has trouble changing direction in that situation. So I think Atlanta will score on him, will move the ball on him. I think Seattle can move the ball too. Seattle's offensive line is playing pretty good right now as a unit. Individually, they're not great. Justin Britt's really playing well at center, but having Rawls will be huge. But I like Atlanta in the game.
The Pittsburgh, the only flaw I would say yesterday is in leaving Ben in a snap or two longer, not just running the football. But they go in against a team that they've beaten earlier this year, but Kansas City fully healthy, and they have some dynamic playmakers. But whether it's Kansas City as a franchise's past or their quarterback's past as being kind of a dink and dump guy, can Kansas City use home field advantage and with a short passing game get the ball to their playmakers? Can they beat Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think they can. This is the best game of the weekend, I think, as far as being close. Defensively is the key. You got to keep Ben in the pocket, so that's the outside linebacker's job. Then you've got to double Brown and force the other receivers to be good enough to win the game. Now, Eli Rodgers has been making some plays the last couple of weeks. So that guy is a guy we have to watch there. Le'Veon Bell is playing phenomenal, but what you have to do with him is you got to be disciplined in your gaps and just wait him out. Let him come to you. And if you do that, you got a chance to stop him. So I think Kansas City's defense is good enough to be able to do the things I talked about. The question is Kansas City offense going to be good enough? I think they'll struggle to run the ball, so now it comes down to Alex Smith and throwing the football. And that's not a great secondary you're throwing against. They play a lot of zone. You're going to have chances. If you can read the zone blitzes, you can make some big plays against them too. So this lot comes down to Alex Smith and the Kansas City's ability to throw the football.